Imagine a surface of crystal clear water, completely still, reflecting the sky like a mirror. Now, visualize a single stone falling into that lake. The ripples form, spread out, and slowly disappear, returning the water to its natural calm. This scene represents how emotions arise within us. They can be as intense as the waves of a tsunami or as subtle as the flow of a tranquil river. The secret lies in learning not to fight them, but to observe, understand, and let them naturally return. To stillness. How many times in your life have you lost control in a stressful situation? Have you ever felt that even though you wanted to stay calm, anger, anxiety, or fear took over? Now, imagine the impact of mastering your emotions during critical moments, whether it's in traffic, during a challenging meeting at work, or in a family conflict. The ability to remain calm can transform not only the situation, but also how you feel about it. You're stuck in traffic. The sound of honking horns, the looming delay, and the pressure to arrive on time take over your mind. Your heart races, your thoughts spiral into chaos, and you feel like you're losing control. Now imagine if you could take a deep breath, accept the moment, and make a conscious decision instead of reacting automatically. What if you could stay serene while the chaos around you unfolds? In this video, we'll explore together the timeless teachings of Zen and Buddhism on how to master your emotions and remain calm in any situation. We'll dive into stories, metaphors, and practices that can transform your everyday life. Once, there was a young disciple seeking to learn the secret of serenity from a Zen master. He was restless, often losing patience over life's small frustrations. One day he asked, "Master, how can I control my emotions when everything feels out of control?" The master smiled and said, "Come with me." They walked to a nearby mountain where a small river flowed. The master picked up a dry branch and, without saying a word, began stirring the river water, creating whirlpools and waves. He then looked at the disciple and asked, "What do you see?" The young man replied, "I see muddy water, full of movement. I can't see the bottom." The master stopped, set the branch aside, and waited. Little by little, the water began to settle, and the mud sank to the bottom. After a few minutes, he asked again, "And now, what do you see?" The disciple smiled. "Now the water is clear. I can see the bottom of the river." The master concluded, "Your emotions are like this river. When you stir them with impulsive thoughts and reactions, everything becomes cloudy. But if you learn to wait and observe, everything settles and clarity naturally arises." How often do we act like the disciple, reacting to situations without thinking? This story teaches us that the first step to mastering our emotions is to allow them to flow without feeding them with more agitation. But this requires practice, patience, and self-awareness. Imagine a manager facing a challenge at work. During an important presentation, a colleague rudely interrupts, questioning their ideas. A wave of heat rises in their face, their heart races, and the immediate impulse is to respond defensively. But instead, they pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and choose their words calmly. "I understand your concern. How about we explore this idea together after the meeting?" This brief pause is an act of emotional control. Instead of reacting impulsively, they chose to respond intentionally. We all face challenging moments where our emotions are tested. Mastering emotional control doesn't mean ignoring them, but observing, understanding, and responding with intention. In Buddhism, emotions are seen as passing clouds in the vast sky of the mind. They arise, linger for a while, and eventually disappear. The problem doesn't lie in the emotions themselves, but in how we cling to them. The concept of mindfulness teaches us to observe our emotions as visitors. When anger arises, don't say, "I am angry." Instead, say, "Anger is here." This simple shift creates space between you and the emotion, allowing you to see it clearly without fully identifying with it. Imagine receiving harsh criticism from a colleague. Your first reaction might be defensive, perhaps feeling attacked. But by taking a deep breath and observing the emotion, you realize, I'm feeling frustrated because I expected recognition. With this clarity, you can respond more maturely and thoughtfully. In Zen, silence is more than the absence of sound. It is a powerful tool to regulate our reactions. Instead of responding impulsively, take a pause. This pause is a moment of choice where you can decide how to react. Before speaking, ask yourself, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? This practice not only aids in emotional control, but also enhances our relationships. On social media, it's easy to react instantly to something that irritates us. Next, time. Stop, breathe, and ask yourself, does this response add anything positive? Detachment is a central concept in Buddhism. It doesn't mean indifference, but accepting that we can't control everything. Often, what causes emotional suffering is our attempt to control the uncontrollable. Think about the last time you felt anxious or angry. Was it related to something outside your control? When we accept that the world isn't under our command, we begin to live with greater ease. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, what is within my control here? What can I let go of? This simple question can be liberating. The ego is at the root of many of our emotional reactions. It creates stories about who we are, what we deserve, and how others should treat us. When these expectations are unmet, emotions like anger, envy, or hurt arise. When you feel something has hurt your ego, ask yourself, why does this bother me so much? Or, am I reacting to the situation or to an idea I created about myself? Imagine being ignored in a conversation. Your ego might interpret it as disrespect, but by questioning this feeling, you may realize the person was simply distracted. Impermanence is one of Buddhism's most powerful truths. Everything in life is constantly changing. Our emotions, our relationships, even our bodies. Whenever you feel an emotion is overwhelming you, visualize it as a wave in the ocean. It rises, peaks, and eventually dissolves. Remember that both good and bad moments are temporary. This helps us not cling to suffering, but also to value moments of joy. Picture yourself standing in front of a tranquil lake again. You realize that even when stones are thrown, the water eventually returns to calm. This lake reflects who you can become, someone not defined by passing storms, but by the depth of their serenity. Emotional control doesn't mean ignoring your emotions, but embracing them with understanding and wisdom. Now think, how can you apply these teachings in your daily life? What situations or moments could be transformed if you cultivated more mindfulness, detachment, or simply practiced the pause before reacting? If this message resonated with you, share this video with someone else seeking emotional balance. Leave a comment below sharing your favorite reflection or what touched you the most in this content. Let's build a community of people who live with more calm, purpose, and serenity. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss upcoming videos. Until our next encounter, may your journey toward tranquility be filled with clarity and wisdom.